So sit in a cross-legged position on your mat or on a block or a cushion. Bring your pelvis into a neutral position. Hands on your knees, thumbs and forefingers joined. Close your eyes for a moment. Tuck your tailbone down. Lengthen the tailbone down. Gently lift the pelvic floor and let your navel draw in toward the spine. Use that activation to lengthen all the way through your spine from the tailbone to the back of the neck and reach up through the crown of the head. Relax your shoulders, relax your face. Bring the awareness into the physical body, always maintaining a connection with your internal awareness. So leaving the external world aside for a few moments and just paying attention to the internal senses, your physical senses in your body. And create your practice or build your practice up from there, where you are at in this moment in time. And then bring the awareness into the breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Lengthen the breath. Inhale, be aware of the expansion of your rib cage and your abdomen. Exhale, draw the navel back in toward the spine. Listen to the sound of your breath, like waves in an ocean. Inhaling. Let the natural pause happen just for a moment and exhaling. Maintain the awareness on your breath and on your internal senses throughout your practice. Always keeping connected with your own physical body, listening to your own body rather than your mind when it comes to your yoga practice. And then when you're ready, come to standing in front of the mat in Samastitihi, equal standing, pressing both feet equally down into the ground. Activate your legs. Keep that lengthening of the tailbone, gentle lifting, activation of your pelvic floor. Navel draws in toward the spine. Keep lengthening through the whole spine, the back of the neck, reach up through the crown of the head. And see if you can maintain that length in the spine throughout your practice. And then we begin the practice with Surya Namaskar A. From Samastitihi. Exhale fully first. And on your inhale, raise the arms up and over your head, look up toward your hands. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lift the chest to lengthen through the spine. Exhale, step back to a plank pose. Take the knees to the floor, lean forward and bring the chest to the ground. Point your toes, lift the chest and press into the arms, look up. And exhale, come to downward facing dog. In downward dog, just enjoy that space you're creating in the spine. Reach your fingers, spread your fingers out in all directions. Lengthen through the arms, shoulders down your back. Long spine, lift the sit bones as high up as you can toward the ceiling. And press the heels toward the ground. Keep your breath even and long. And then on your next inhale, step your feet forward again, feet together, lift the chest and lengthen again. And exhale, folding down. Press into the heels. Inhale, raise the arms, look up to your hands. Exhale, Samastitihi, arms by your sides. Again, inhale, raise the arms, look up to your hands. Exhale, folding forward, keep the spine long. Inhale, lift the chest to lengthen through the spine again. Exhale, step back to plank pose, knees down if you like, or maybe keep the legs straight as you lean forward and come to the floor. Inhale, lift the chest, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take 5 deep breaths here. Keep the neck long, your chin tucked in. And keep the activation again in all of your body. So from your fingertips all the way up through the sit bones and down again through the backs of the legs, the heels pressing into the ground. Deep breaths. And on your next inhale, step all the way forward again. Lift the chest to lengthen through the spine. And exhale, folding forward. Inhale, press into the heels and come all the way up, looking up toward your hands. Exhale, Samastitihi. And again. Inhale, raise the arms, look up to your hands. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lift the chest to lengthen through the spine. And exhale, step back to plank pose again. Lean forward, bend the elbows, maybe even hovering in chaturanga, or come all the way to the floor if you prefer. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And again, activate your whole body. Press into the fingers, into the hands, push the floor away from you. Lengthen your arms, shoulder blades down your back. Lengthen your spine. Lift the sit bones. And press the heels toward the ground. Tuck your chin in so you can lengthen through the neck also. Deep inhale, long exhale. And on your next inhale, step or maybe jump if you like forward. Lift the chest and lengthen again. Exhale, folding down. Press into the heels. Inhale, come all the way up, looking up toward your hands. And exhale back to Samastitihi. And we'll take 2 more. Inhale, raise the arms, look up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lift the chest to lengthen through the spine, shoulders back, press the palms down. Exhale, step or jump to chaturanga, or of course come all the way down to the floor. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take 5 deep breaths here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you're ready, on your next inhale, step or jump forward again. Feet together, lift the chest and look up. And exhale, folding forward. Press into the heels. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach up, look to your hands. Exhale, Samastitihi. Last one. Inhale, raise the arms, look up to your hands. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lift the chest to lengthen through the spine. And exhale, step or jump back to chaturanga or any other modification you prefer. Inhale, lift the chest, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And on your next inhale, step or jump forward. Lift the chest and lengthen through the spine again. And exhale, folding down. Inhale, come all the way up, looking up toward your hands. Exhale, back to Samastitihi. And then bend the knees, sit back onto an invisible chair, lift the chest and reach your arms up and overhead, look up. And exhale, folding first and then straightening the legs. Inhale, lengthen through the spine again. Exhale, step or jump back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, press into the left leg. Inhale, reach and look up to your hands. Exhale, step back to Chaturanga again. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward. Press into the right foot. Inhale, reach and look up. And exhale, step back to Chaturanga. Nice and slow. Inhale, enjoy that upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And steady the breath. So for Surya Namaskar B, the breath might be a little bit more out of control. So we use the downward facing dog to really lengthen into the breath again. Keep the breath steady. Complete each inhale and exhale. Lengthen through the spine. And on your next inhale, step or jump forward, look up and lengthen. And exhale, folding down. Bend the knees again. Inhale, reach up, lift the chest, look up to your hands. And exhale, Samastitihi. We'll do 2 more. Bend the knees, lift the chest. Inhale, raise the arms and look up. And exhale, folding first and then lift the sit bones. Inhale, lengthen again. Exhale, step or jump to Chaturanga or any other modification. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward. Inhale, raise the arms, look up. Exhale, step back to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, lift the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward. Inhale, raise the arms, look up. Exhale, step back to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And again, use your downward dog to steady the breath. Lengthen your inhale, lengthen your exhale. Keep the awareness focused on your breath. And enjoy the feeling of opening through the back of the body. Long arms, long spine. Lengthen through the backs of the legs, heels toward the ground. And on your next inhale, step or jump forward, look up and lengthen again. Exhale, folding down. Bend the knees. Inhale, raise the arms, look up to your hands. Exhale to Samastitihi. And the last one, bend the knees again. Inhale, raise the arms, look up. Exhale, fold and then lift the sit bones to straighten the legs. Inhale, lift the chest, look up. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward. Inhale, raise the arms, look up. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward. Inhale, raise the arms, look up. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And again, steady the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And inhale, step or jump forward, look up. And exhale, folding down. Bend the knees. Inhale, raise the arms and look up. And exhale, come to Samastitihi. And then we prepare for the standing postures. Take your hands to your waist. Tailbone lengthens, navel draws in, gently lifting the pelvic floor. Feet are hip distance apart. Lift the chest. Inhale and exhale, fold forward. 2 fingers around your big toes. Long spine and exhale, folding all the way down. Padangusthasana, big toe pose. Activate your whole body. Lift the sit bones up toward the ceiling and reach the crown of the head toward the floor. Elbows are bending toward the sides, shoulders down your back. Activate your legs. Use your whole body equally. Even breath. And then inhale, lift the chest, look up. And exhale, come to Padahastasana, hands under the feet, stepping up toward the palms. Long spine, inhale again. And exhale, folding forward. Use that same activation of the whole body. Lifting the sit bones, shoulders back, elbows bending to the sides, active legs, chin tucked in, and a steady breath. And when you're ready, on your next inhale, lift the chest and lengthen through the spine again. And exhale, just take your hands to your waist. Press into the heels, keep the tailbone down, chin tucked in. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale to Samastitihi, feet together at the front of the mat. Trikonasana, step your right leg out, wide legs. Feet parallel to begin with, arms out to the side. Turn your left toe halfway in and the right toe all the way out. Keep the legs strong. Reach forward. Tuck your hips back. And catch your toe if that's accessible. If not, catch your shin. Anywhere your right hand reaches naturally is the right place for you. So don't force reaching your toes, only to collapse forward. Keep the front of the body open, keep the chest lifting, reach the left arm as much as you can up. Maybe look up toward the left hand. Keep your legs pressing down strongly. Deep breaths. And on your next inhale, come up again. Turn on your heels to face the opposite way. Tuck your hips back, reach forward and take the left hand down. If the hand naturally reaches the toe, 2 fingers around your big toe. If not, take it wherever it does naturally reach. Lift the chest, open the front of the body, press into both legs, reach up with your right arm, look up. and steady your breath. Focus on the breath. Enjoy that opening in the side and front of the body. And then again, inhale, come up. And exhale, turn all the way to the back of the room. Hips are level, hands to the waist. Inhale, lengthen, lift the chest. Exhale, folding over your right leg. Take your left hand to the floor. Inside or outside of the foot is fine. Lift the chest first and then reach your right arm up. Parivritta Trikonasana. If you prefer, you can leave the right hand on your hip, just focusing on that spiraling action, the length in the spine and the rotation in the spine, rather than where your hands reach. And then inhale, slowly come all the way up, turn all the way around, adjust your hips and feet for the other side. And exhale, folding over the left leg. Make sure you're stable to begin with, so don't have your feet too wide apart. Make sure that you have a good stance. Lift the chest and lastly, lift the left arm. Maybe look up, keep your hips grounded, keep your legs active. Deep breath. And then inhale, come all the way up, reach out through your arms. And exhale to Samastitihi. And then take your right leg out again. This time wider than before. Parshvakonasana. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, bend the right knee. Lean your right forearm on your thigh and take the left arm up and over your head. Maybe some of you might take the right hand to the outside of the foot on the floor. But again, if that means if you find yourself collapsing forward, come back up again. Make it about the side line. Parshvakona, side angle. So really keep that opening from the left foot all the way up through the left hand. Your main focus. Keep the chest lifting. Deep breaths. And then inhale, come up, turn around. And exhale, bend the left knee, forearm on the thigh or hand to the floor. Press into the right foot and reach your left hand up. Feel that sensation of opening through your side line. And then inhale, come all the way up again. Turn all the way to the back once again. And take your left knee to the floor. Parivritta Parshvakonasana. Reach your left arm up to lengthen through the left side. And exhale, reach that left arm as far as you can across your right thigh. You can take both hands to the hip and just lift the chest and look up and stay here if you like. Or if the left hand reaches to the floor, you could try lifting the left leg, straighten the left leg, and maybe take your right arm up and over your head. But again, make the most important aspect that lengthening and rotation in the spine. Deep breath, stabilize yourself. If your left leg is straight, push back through the heel. And then inhale, slowly come up again. Turn all the way around, right knee to the floor. Reach your right arm up to lengthen through the right side. Inhale and exhale, reach across your left thigh. Both hands to your left hip, lift the chest, or right hand to the floor, left hand to the hip. Maybe straightening the right leg, lift the chest, look up, and maybe taking your left arm up and over your head. So approach this posture step by step, always evaluating where you are at in this moment in time. Don't skip any steps, it won't do you any favors. Keep your focus on where you're at right now. Lift the chest. And then come all the way up again. Reach out through both arms and exhale back to Samastitihi. Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward bend. Take your right leg out again, wide legs, hands to the waist, feet parallel. Inhale, lift the chest to lengthen. exhale, hands to the floor. Inhale again, lift the chest even more, keep the spine as long as you can, and exhale, walk your hands back to be in line with your feet. Reach your head toward the floor, lift the sit bones up. Again, the activation reaches all the parts of your body. Sit bones lifting up, crown of the head reaching down. The hands on the floor can gently push forward to help with that lengthening of the spine. Activate your legs, thighs are engaged. And focus on your breath, even inhale and exhale. Shoulders back, long neck. And on your next inhale, lift the chest again, look up. Exhale, take your hands to the waist, chin tucked in so you won't get dizzy as you come up slowly on an inhale. And exhale there. Inhale, now reach the arms out wide. Exhale, take your hands to your waist. Inhale, lift the chest again to lengthen. Keep the chest lifting as you exhale, fold forward. Keep the hands on the waist this time. And use your legs, the strength in your legs to activate your whole body. This time you won't have the help of the hands on the floor, but still lift the sit bones and reach the crown of the head as much as you can toward the floor. Shoulders back, elbows back, deep breaths. Activate your legs strongly. And on your next inhale, slowly come all the way up. Keep your chin tucked in. And exhale there. Inhale, reach the arms out wide again. And exhale, clasp your hands behind your back, fingers interlaced, long arms away from you. Lift the chest. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale, folding forward. Keep your shoulders relaxed, your arms long, deep breath. Again, activate your legs really strongly, and on an inhale, come all the way up, chin tucked in. And exhale, take your hands to your waist. Just one more variation. Inhale, lift the chest and lengthen. And exhale, fold forward. And again, take 2 fingers around your big toes as you've done before. Inhale, lengthen through the spine again. Keep the chest lifting. And exhale, bend the elbows to the sides. Take your shoulders back and feel that expansion of your body in all directions. Sit bones lifting up, crown of the head reaching down, shoulder blades down your back, elbows out to the sides, active legs, feet rooting down, and breathe deeply. And on your next inhale, when you're ready, lift the chest and lengthen through the spine. And exhale, just take the hands to the waist again. Inhale, slowly come all the way up. And exhale, come to Samastitihi. And the last of the fundamental standing postures. Reach your arms behind your back. If it's accessible for you, take a prayer position behind your back. If not, catch your elbows or your wrists and then turn all the way around, hips facing straight forward. Inhale to lengthen and exhale, folding over your right leg. Keep that length in the spine. Forehead reaches towards your shin. Lift the sit bones, deep breaths. Stabilize yourself by rooting down both legs equally. If your hands are in prayer position, lift the elbows and push the palms toward each other gently. Press into both legs, lift the chest, inhale, come all the way up, turn around, adjust yourself for the other side, and exhale, folding forward. So really make sure you have a good position, feet always, toes pointing in the same direction as your knees. Lengthen through the spine, active legs, deep breaths. When you're ready, inhale, come up, feet parallel. And exhale, come back to Samastiti. Release your arms. And then we begin our balancing sequence. Root down strongly into the left leg. Take your hands to the waist, preparing for Uttita Hasta Padangusthasana. As a first step, lift your right knee, draw the shin toward the chest, and just stay here. If you're ready to reach your toe, take 2 fingers around the toes, maybe stay here. And eventually then lift the foot to begin straightening the legs. Keep your chest lifting, keep pressing down into the left leg. Focus your eyes either toward your toes or toward a point somewhere in front of you. Concentrating the mind. And when you're ready, open the right leg out to the side and look over to your left. Find a new point of focus to the left. Make sure that there is balance in your whole body. So reaching up through the crown of the head equally as much as you're reaching down through your left foot. Keep your tailbone lengthened, pelvic floor gently lifting. Inhale, bring the leg back to the front. And exhale, both hands to the waist. Keep the leg lifting, point the toe. Strong activation of your right thigh, your hip flexors. Keep that right hip tucked back. So the more you lean back, the more you're just going to use your quads rather than your hip flexors. So make sure that you stay with your hip tucked back. And then exhale, release. Take the left side, root down into the right leg. Take your left shin, stay here. Or take your toe, stay here if you like, or lift your foot. And you could lift your foot even just a little bit. Step by step approaching the straight leg. And the straight leg eventually will come. So just don't skip any steps. Make sure that you are practicing to your own ability in this moment in time. Breathing deeply. And when you're ready, open the leg out to the left side and turn your head to the right. Again, reaching up through the crown of the head, pressing down into the right leg. If you feel wobbly, don't worry about it. This is your body learning to balance. And when you're ready, bring the leg back to the front. Inhale and exhale, catch your waist, point the toes, stay there. Deep breath, strong activation. And then exhale, release. And then we're going to take a tree pose, Rikshasana. So again, rooting down into the left leg. Take the right ankle and take the sole of the foot against your inner left thigh for tree pose. If that doesn't feel okay, you could take your foot lower down against your calf. Hands can be in prayer position in front of your chest or reach up above your head. Activating the left leg, opening into the right groin. Deep breaths here. Enjoy that stretch up as well if your hands are up. And you could stay in tree pose for a longer time if you like. Or if you know already that your hips are open enough for half lotus pose, you could take your heel into the left groin and take your knee down, take a half lotus, wrap your right arm across your lower back, catch your left arm or even your toe if you can. But if that causes any uncomfortable feeling in your knee or anywhere, then just stay in tree pose for longer. Deep breaths here. So sometimes what makes an advanced practitioner is not necessarily what you can do with your body, but what you know about your body, the awareness you have gained about your body. And then release and take the left side, Vrikshasana, tree pose. Hands in prayer position or reach your arms up and enjoy that stretch upward, root down into the right leg. Always listening to your body rather than to your mind, as the mind often is a little bit competitive and just wants to reach ahead of itself. So feel free to stay in tree pose longer or take a half lotus on the left side. So I have some old injuries on my left hip from a motorbike accident, so I won't take any half lotus on the left side. I just stay in tree pose for longer. And you can still open into the groin if you're in Vrikshasana. You can still move that left knee further and further back and feel that nice sensation of opening in the hip. And when you're ready, release and come back to Samastitihi. Root down into both legs again. Tailbone lengthens down, pelvic floor gently lifts, navel draws in toward the spine. Reach up through the crown of the head. Bring the awareness back to the breath. And then inhale, raise the arms, and exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lift the chest again to lengthen. And exhale, step or jump back to Chaturanga or come all the way to the floor. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Now bring the weight forward into the arms a little more. Bend the knees and take a jump forward or step forward. Bend the knees and reach up, Utkatasana. So sit down in your invisible chair, sit down as low as you can and reach up as high as you can at the same time. Tuck the tailbone down and again make it about the length in the spine, really stretching through the spine. Activate your legs. Lift the chest, look up. Deep breaths here. And then on your next exhale, fold forward first, then lift the sit bones. And if you wish, if you like, you could lift up into a brief Bakasana here. So knees up on your arms and lift the feet. And exhale to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And then step the right foot forward for Virabhadrasana 1. Reach your arms up, sink into the hips, keep your hips forward. So that might, for some of you, mean that your heel is not on the mat. And for some of you, it might be on the mat if you press down, if you can still keep your hips forward. So make that the most important aspect of the practice. You feel that stretch in the front of your left hip. And then turn around, bend the left knee, take the left side. Reach your arms up, look up toward your hands. Feel that stretch in the front of the right hip. Deep breaths, lengthening all the way up and grounding down into the feet. And from here, open to Virabhadrasana 2. Open into the right hip now, pressing the right heel down, but see that your left knee stays over your ankle. So try to not let it fall in. Strong in your right leg. Keep that right leg, the stabilizing leg. Keep your chest lifting, so don't charge forward. Keep the spine long, tailbone tucked down. And then straighten the left leg, turn around, and on an exhale again, bend the right knee, come to the other side. Engage your left thigh. Keep the right knee over the ankle. Keep the chest lifting. Reach out through all your fingertips. And breathe evenly. And then take both hands to the floor. Exhale, come to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And on your next inhale, see if you can jump or step through to a seated position. Straight legs, come to Dandasana. Feet together, activate your legs, push out through the heels, hands by the sides of your hips, and just gently press into the floor to use that activation to lengthen again through the spine. Tailbone lengthens down. Pelvic floor gently lifts. Let the navel draw in. Relax your face. Come back with your awareness to the breath. Lengthen the breath again. And then lift the chest. Inhale, reach for your toes, 2 fingers around the toes. And exhale, bend the elbows to fold forward, Paschimottanasana. Reach the crown of the head as much as possible toward your toes, shoulder blades down your back. Focusing on your breath. And then inhale, lengthen up again. Exhale, change your hands, take them over the toes and fold forward again. Shoulder blades down your back, tailbone tucked down. Reach back with your sit bones and forward with the crown of the head. And then inhale, lift the chest again, lengthen through the spine. One more variation. Exhale, reach all the way around your feet as far as you can. Either hold on to the heels or take your hands around your feet. Clasp the fingers or hold on to the wrists. Keep the crown of the head reaching toward your toes, sit bones back, shoulder blades back. Deep breaths. And then inhale, lift the chest and lengthen again. And exhale, sit back in Dandasana. Cross the ankles, tuck the feet under, reach forward. Inhale, lift the hips, and exhale, step back to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. On your inhale, step or jump through to a seated position. Come back to Dandasana, and from here we'll begin Janu Shirshasana. Bend the right knee and take the knee out to the side. Don't change the position of your hips, just take the knee out to the side. And exhale, folding over your left leg. Reach as much around your foot as you feel comfortable. And again, activate your whole body. Reach back with your sit bones, reach out with your right knee, forward with your crown of the head toward the toes, shoulder blades down your back, elbows toward the sides, expanding the body in all directions, creating space everywhere in the body, and enjoy that space. And then inhale, lift the chest and lengthen, and exhale, come back. If you have a block nearby or even an old book, then take the block underneath your ankle and take a forward fold again, just to see if you can work a little deeper into the hip. If that's not possible, repeat Janu Shirshasana again, or alternatively, if you know you have a comfortable half lotus practice, Take a half lotus now. Wrap your right arm around. See if you can catch your left toe and fold forward. If you don't have the toe, you could just reach both arms forward. But again, feel and pay attention to the sensations in your body closely. If there's any torquing in the knee, if there's any pinching in the knee or any uncomfortable feeling, come back to simple Janu Shirshasana. And then on your next inhale, lengthen up again, lift the chest, and exhale, release. Push out through the right heel to really straighten that leg, and then take your foot behind for Triang Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. So important here is that both sit bones can root down equally onto the floor. If that's not happening, try sitting on a block. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, folding forward. Keep both femurs, both legs internally rotated. So let that right thigh really rotate strongly internally, and even the left leg has a little activation toward the inside so that you are not falling to the left, but that you're staying level. Deep breathing. And on your next inhale, lift the chest, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, release. Again, push out through the heels, straighten that leg strongly, come to Dandasana. And then cross the ankles. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, come to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step or jump through, come to Dandasana again, and take that same sequence on the left side. So left knee bends out to the side, Janu Shirshasana. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, folding over your right leg. Deep breaths. The whole body is activated, expanding in all directions. On your next inhale, lift the chest to lengthen again through the spine, and exhale, release. Take your block, place it under the ankle, or feel free to repeat Janu Shirshasana again, or take your half lotus if that feels safe and comfortable to you. For me, I will choose the block on the left side. So inhale, lengthen, and exhale, folding forward. And then inhale, again, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, release, push back through the heel so that you can straighten into that left leg, and take your foot back for Triang Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. Sit on a block if you like, and exhale, folding forward. Keep that internal rotation active. Deep breath, send your sit bones back, reach forward with the crown of the head. And on your next inhale, again lift the chest to lengthen. And exhale, release, straighten your left leg out, straighten both legs out in Dandasana for a moment. And then again, cross the ankles, reach forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step or jump through again to a seated position. Straighten your legs for Dandasana. And then bend the right knee again. Marichyasana. This time keep the heel a little further toward the outer edge of the hip. Hold on to your shin, left hand on the floor, and really lengthen through the spine. Feel that different opening in the hip. Reach your right arm up and exhale, fold forward. Stay here unless your shoulder really is clearly further forward than your shin, then come into a bind. But if it isn't, reach forward until your shoulder comes further forward than your shin, and then the bind will naturally happen and you're not dislocating your shoulder just in order to reach the bind. So don't make the bind the most important part of this posture. You should feel a nice opening in the hip, a lengthening in the spine. Breathing deeply, activate your legs. Both legs are active. On your next inhale, lift the chest again and lengthen, and exhale, release, come to Dandasana, and take the left side. Right hand can be on the floor to help with that lengthening. Inhale, reach your left arm up, and exhale, fold forward. Stay there, or if it's in your practice, then come into the bind. Catch your hands behind your back. Fold forward, reach the chest forward, reach the crown of the head towards your right foot, and breathe. On your next inhale, lift the chest to lengthen, and exhale, release, come back to Dandasana. And then cross your ankles, reach forward, inhale, lift up, and exhale, step or jump to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, lift the chest, shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step or jump through again to a seated position. And bend the right knee again, Marichyasana C. So this time, keep your knee in a little bit and turn to your right side. You can either hug the leg, simply just hug the leg, or reach your left arm to the outside of your thigh. So turn the chest all the way to the back, and the same goes here for the bind. So if your elbow comes further forward than the shin, then feel free and go ahead and see how the bind feels for you. Otherwise, don't worry about the bind at all. You can take your hand to your foot or to your hip. Lengthen through the spine. Keep that nice rotation in the spine as the most important aspect of the posture. Keep your hips forward, look all the way to the back. Keep your left leg active. And then exhale, release, come to Dandasana. And prepare for the left side. Bend your left knee and turn to the left. Hug the leg with your right arm, or maybe reach your right arm up, lengthen through the side. Take the arm to the outside of your left thigh. Knee as much in toward the armpit as you can, and then see where you're at here. Hand can be on the hip or on the foot, or maybe if it feels okay, come to the bind and catch your hands behind your back. But if you begin to restrict your breathing, if you can't breathe anymore, maybe don't take the bind for the moment and just work on a different variation first. Keep the spine long and spiraling toward the back and breathing freely. And then exhale, release. Push through both heels, lift the chest, come to Dandasana. And then cross the ankles, reach forward. Inhale, lift, and exhale, come to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step or jump through to a seated position. Again, straight legs, Dandasana. And we prepare now for Navasana. Bend both knees, arms forward, long spine, and lean back a little bit. That could be your first step. You might want to stay here if you have any lower back issues, or lift the lower legs, keep the knees bent, or if you're ready to straighten the legs, straighten the legs. Keep a strong activation, keeping the tailbone tucked down, navel toward the spine, pelvic floor lifting. Lift the chest, lengthen through the spine. Try not to round the back. And then cross the ankles, knees toward your shoulders. Inhale, lift up off the ground for just a moment, and exhale, come back to Navasana again. Deep breathing, look toward your toes. Keep the chest lifting, keep that length in the spine. Strongly pointing the toes, and then again bend the knees, cross the ankles. Inhale, lift up briefly. Exhale just one more time. Keep the knees bent if you need to. Do whatever it takes for you to keep that spine long. Keep yourself from sinking down. Reach the arms forward, strongly point the toes. And then again, cross the ankles, tuck the toes under, reach forward, inhale, lift, and exhale to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. This time, step or jump forward with your feet about mat distance apart. Lift the chest and exhale, bend the knees, come to a squatting position. If possible, keep your feet flat on the ground. If that's not possible, just work toward it. Feel free to reach your hands forward onto the floor. Work toward that. Press the knees, if possible, against the shoulders. If you're in a deep squat, that will also be your preparation for Bhuja Pidasana, shoulder pressure pose. So really activate your legs and press against the shoulders here. Lift the chest, lengthen through the spine. And then take your hands to the floor, lift up. If you wish, you can take another brief lift into Bakasana here. So lifting your feet, lifting up onto your arms, and then exhale to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step or jump through again to a seated position, and then come to Dandasana. From here, bend both knees and take both knees out to the side with the soles of your feet together for Baddha Konasana. Keep the heels close toward you. Lift the chest and just stay here in the seated version with your elbows bending back toward the groins, keeping the chest lifting, keeping the tailbone lengthening down, pelvic floor gently lifting, navel drawing toward the spine. Deep breathing. Keep pressing the knees toward the floor. And then inhale, lift the chest and lengthen, and exhale, reach the chest forward toward the floor. So don't worry about where your head reaches. It's all about the length in the spine again. So think navel toward the feet. Elbows bending toward the groins again, shoulder blades back. Deep breaths. And then inhale, slowly lift the chest and come up. And one more variation. Exhale, this time round the back and reach the crown of the head toward your feet. Deep breathing again. And on your next inhale, lift the chest and come to sitting. And exhale, straighten the legs for Dandasana. Again, cross the ankles, or of course, feel free to take a break anytime you need to. And exhale to Chaturanga. Inhale, lift the chest, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step or jump through to a seated position again. This time, take your legs wide for Upavishta Konasana. Inhale, lift the chest and lengthen. And exhale, reach your hands toward your feet. If possible, take the outsides of the heels, otherwise any other parts of your legs or feet. And reach the chest forward toward the ground. Keep your legs active, chest toward the ground. Deep breathing. And then inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, come to sitting. See if you can lift the straight legs up. If you can, catch the outsides of the foot. Otherwise, bend the knees, catch the outsides of the foot. And then see if you can straighten them again. Urdhva Upavishta Konasana. So keep balancing now on your sit bones. Keep that activation of drawing in the navel toward the spine, tailbone lengthening, pelvic floor lifting, lifting the chest, lengthening through the spine, shoulder blades back. Look up toward the ceiling. And then exhale, release and cross the ankles. Inhale, lift, and exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step or jump through, come to Dandasana, and then round your spine and roll down to lying on your back. Lift your right leg up, see if you can catch your toe. If not, just take your calf or your thigh. If you can catch the toe, keep your left hand on your hip, keep the left leg straight, keep everything as straight as you can. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, and on your exhale, lift the upper body toward your right leg, so folding over your right leg. Deep breathing. Keep pointing the left toe, keep that left leg activated. Keep your shoulders down your back. And on your next inhale, lie down again. And on your exhale, open that leg out to the right side. Keep your left leg, your left hip on the floor as much as possible. And turn your head to the left. Keep the activation in your left leg. Deep breathing. And then when you're ready, inhale, lift the leg back up. Exhale, fold forward once more. Inhale, lie down, let go of your toe, point the toe, and exhale, release that leg down on the floor. And then prepare for the left side, Supta Padangusthasana. Catch your left toe or calf or thigh. Inhale and exhale, folding over the left leg. And again, keep the activation in your right leg. Keep pointing the right toe. Deep breathing. And then inhale, lie down. And exhale, open to the left side. Look to the right, so turn your head. Keep your right leg activated. Deep breathing. Keep your whole body active. Point the toe, reach your right toe down, reach your left foot away from you. Keep both shoulder blades on the floor. Turn your head to the right. Again, opening, creating space in all directions. And then inhale, bring the leg back up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lie down, let go of the toe, and exhale, release the leg. And then tuck the knees to the chest, come up to sitting and take a vinyasa. Exhale, jump back to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, inhale, come forward to a plank pose. And then from plank pose, slowly lower yourself to the floor and take a short rest in crocodile's pose. So resting the forehead on your hands, heels dropping in, toes out. And then lift your chest and bring your feet close together. Activate your legs again, so don't keep everything relaxed, keep everything activated. Lift up onto your forearms, lift the chest as you're coming into a sphinx pose, but keep that activation in the back of the body. Lift the chest, keep breathing deeply. Send the feet away from you. Send the tailbone away from you. And feel free to stay here longer, or if you want to deepen a little bit, spread the fingers and press into the arms, straightening the arms. Keep the chest lifting. Deep breathing. And then slowly exhale, come down and release. Relax your body for just a moment. Your lower back, and then bend your knees, catch your ankles for Dhanurasana. So lift your knees and extend the feet away from you. Lift the chest and keep tension in your body as if you were really a bow. Extend the feet away as if you want your feet to pull at your arms. And then exhale, release. Inhale, come to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stretch your spine for a moment in downward facing dog. And then take your knees to the ground. Come up to kneeling. Take your hands to your lower back, preparing for Ustrasana, camel pose. So keep your hands on your lower back for the moment. Inhale, and on your exhale, push your hips forward, lift the chest, take your head back. Feel free to stay here, or if it feels comfortable enough, reach for your heels. You can have your toes tucked or your feet flat if you have enough space in your back. Take your head back, stretch through the front of the throat, keep the chest lifting, keep your hips forward, again reaching the body in all directions. And then tuck your chin in, inhale, come up, and exhale, sit on your heels, reach your hands forward, tuck the toes and lift up into a downward facing dog. Stretch your back out again for a moment. Enjoy that lengthening in the spine, and then inhale, step or jump through. Round the spine as you exhale, lie down on your back. Feel into the body, awareness into your internal senses, awareness in your physical sensations. Deep breathing. And then when you're ready, we prepare for the back bending Setu Bandha first. So bend both knees, feet hip distance apart, hands flat down. Activate your tailbone. Now curl the tailbone in and let that activation be what lifts your hips up. So exhale fully and inhale. Lengthen the tailbone away from you and lift the hips as much as you can. Work the shoulder blades in toward each other. And if possible, clasp your hands so you have your straight arms on the floor pressing down. Press also gently into the feet so you can lift all the way into the chest. Send the knees away from you. Pressing the shoulders down into the floor. Feel that lengthening and opening in the front of the body. And then exhale again, curl the tailbone in and roll back down onto the floor. So feel free to stick with Setu Bandha and repeat that again. Or if you know you're ready to, go ahead and take Urdhva Dhanurasana, full back bend. Take your hands over your shoulders. Exhale fully and lift up. And maybe you want to come and lift your heels. Sometimes that helps create a little bit more space in the lower back. And see if you can stay there for 5 breaths. And then exhale, slowly come to the crown of the head. Maybe walk your hands in a little bit more if you want to deepen, and inhale, lift up again. And maybe this time take the heels to the floor. See how it feels. If it doesn't feel okay, keep the heels lifting. Bring the weight more and more into your arms. Gently press into the floor, lifting the front of the body toward the ceiling. And then one more time, release onto the crown of the head. Exhale and inhale. For the last time, lift up into a full back bend, or of course stick to Setu Bandha. Either way, make sure you feel that big opening in the front of the body, really stretching through the whole front of the body. And then exhale, slowly release back down to the floor. Lie in Shavasana for a moment. Bring the awareness to your body, to the front of the body. Feel that release, feel that freedom in the body after opening the front of the body. Come back to your breath, settle the breath, lengthen the breath. And then when you feel ready, tuck your knees to the chest and roll up to sitting. Take Dandasana, straight legs, and let's take a forward fold here. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, reach for your feet. Maybe take your hands around the feet, or maybe take your toes, any version that feels good to you. Send the sit bones back, send the crown of the head forward, shoulders back, elbows to the sides. Deep breathing, enjoy that forward fold. And when you feel ready, nice and gentle and slowly, inhale, lift the chest and lengthen through the spine. And exhale, come to Dandasana. Cross the ankles again, or feel free to take a break, of course. Inhale, lift, and exhale to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step or jump through. And exhale, round the back again, lie down on your back. And then tuck the knees to the chest. Open the knees wide so they are reaching toward the outer edges of your rib cage. And then lift the soles of the feet toward the ceiling and catch the sides of the feet. If you can't reach the sides of the feet, catch your calves or thigh. Release the knees down toward the floor. Happy baby pose, Sukha Balasana. Really enjoy that release now of your hips, of your lower back. Send the tailbone, lengthen the tailbone away from you. And this also is a really nice inversion as you have your legs up higher than your heart. You could stay here as an inversion practice, as a substitute for shoulder stand. If anyone does not want to take shoulder stand, whether you're menstruating at the moment, or you have any neck issues or scoliosis, or any other issue that makes shoulder stand uncomfortable for you, then in that case, stay in happy baby pose. Or of course, you could also take the mat to the wall and rest your legs up on the wall, or keep your legs straight up. For those of you taking shoulder stand, bring the straight legs up and then swing your legs and hips up. Take the hands to your back. Walk the hands closer and closer toward your shoulder blades. Bring the shoulders in toward each other. Make sure now that you clearly are pressing the shoulders down into the floor and not your neck. Your neck should be relaxed. There should be no pressure on the neck or on the upper spine. Only the shoulders pressing down. Reach the toes up toward the ceiling, lengthening. And also lengthen the breath here. So really come back to your breath, settle the breath. Long inhale and equally long exhale. Come back to the ocean breath, like waves coming in. Let there be a natural pause, and then let the wave wash out again. And listen to that natural pause again. Never let there be any restraint on your breath, any restriction. Even if you're using Ujjayi breath, it's only there to control the breath a little bit more, but not to restrict the breath too much. And then exhale, take your feet over your head for Halasana. If the feet easily touch the ground, see if you can point the toe, keep the legs straight and active, and maybe clasp the hands, press your arms down toward the floor. If that's not comfortable, keep the arms open, palms down. Deep breathing. And whenever you feel ready, push the palms down, activate your legs and your abdomen. Strongly lift the legs up and slowly roll back down to come to lying on your mat. And we'll take a moment in Shavasana to relax and release into the neck and into the whole body before we take our counter pose, Matsyasana, fish pose. So for Matsyasana, you can keep your legs straight and active, push out through the heels, maybe slip the hands a little bit underneath your buttocks to help. And then lift up onto your forearms. Lift the chest, strongly arching into the upper back. Lean back so your crown of the head releases toward the floor. So let that release be the main aspect of the pose, to release into the back of the neck, stretch the front of the neck, and lift the upper back. So the opposite to what we've done in shoulder stand and Halasana. Deep breathing here. Keep pushing into the forearms. Keep lifting the chest. And then exhale, gently release, come to lying on your back. And then tuck the knees to the chest. Roll up to sitting. Inhale, lift up, and exhale to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, and then take your knees to the floor. Sit back onto your heels. Take a moment in child's pose. You could take child's pose here. Just stay in child's pose for the next few minutes. For those of you who have a safe headstand practice, feel free, go ahead and practice your headstand. And if you want to work toward headstand, we'll take a dolphin pose here. So coming up onto your forearms, clasp the hands to make a triangle between your elbows and hands. And as if you're lifting into downward dog, lift up onto your forearms. Make sure you're pressing into the elbows, lengthening through the upper arms and shoulders, all the way through the back. Lift the sit bones and work on creating length in the spine and strength in your shoulder blades. And then exhale, come down and reach your arms forward. Keep practicing the same dolphin pose twice more. If you feel you want to take the next step, take dolphin pose again, but walk your feet further forward, as far forward as you can until your hips come maybe even over your shoulders, come onto the toes and stay here, still pressing into the shoulders. The head can be on the floor, but make sure that the pressure is not on the head. It's the shoulders and arms that carry most of the weight. And then come down again. And then if you already have a headstand practice, if you've never done headstand before, learning it from a video might not be the right way to go. But if you already have a headstand practice, maybe you can now try and come up with straight legs. So from that last position, hips over your shoulders, the feet should lift almost automatically, and then just lift them all the way up into your headstand. Press down into the elbows, lengthen through the upper arms, lengthen through the spine, reach the feet up. Deep breaths here. And then exhale, slowly come down again with your straight legs if possible. So keep the hips back and over your shoulders and come down into a child's pose. Take a moment rest in child's pose. You could keep your knees wide, sink the chest down toward the floor. Reach the arms forward, relax your shoulders. Deep breaths. And then tuck your toes and come to a downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, step or jump through to a seated position and come to a cross-legged position. So if you have been practicing on your half lotus during your practice, come to a seated half lotus now. Or if you know you have a full lotus without any issues, then take your full lotus or come to any other cross-legged position that feels comfortable to you. Catch your elbows behind your back and exhale, folding forward. Keep the sit bones back and down toward the floor, chest forward, head on the ground if possible or toward the ground. And settle the breath back to its natural state. Just lengthen the breath. Keep breathing freely. And then inhale, lift the chest and sit up long. And exhale, take your hands to your knees, again thumbs and forefingers joined. As we started the practice, we will finish the practice in a seated position, still keeping that activation just a little bit longer, lengthening the tailbone, lifting the pelvic floor gently and drawing the navel toward the spine. And use that activation so you can lengthen the spine, reach up through the crown of the head, shoulders down your back. Relax the shoulders, relax your face, unclench your jaws if you are clenching anything. Lengthen the breath. Pay attention to the breath. Pay attention to the sensations in the body. Feel the difference between before practice sensations and after practice sensations. Feel the freedom in the body, the space you've created in the body. And when you're ready, inhale, lengthen, and exhale, release your cross-legged position. Come to Dandasana, straight legs, round your back, and again roll back to come to lying on your back on the floor. Spread your arms a little bit away from you, spread your legs a little bit away from each other, and completely relax the body. Now come to Shavasana. For your final relaxation, just take a moment to scan your body with your awareness to make sure that there is no tension anywhere left in the body. So begin with bringing the awareness into your face, smoothing the skin on your forehead, unclenching your jaws, relax the jaws, relax your mouth, the tongue in your mouth, relax your eyes. Bring the awareness to your head. Have a feeling of smoothing of the scalp, of the skin on your head, the back of the neck, the front of the neck. Drop the shoulders down onto the floor. Release the arms, the fingers, the hands. Bring the awareness into your pelvis. Relax your pelvic floor, completely softening and letting go of any tension in your pelvic area. Release the legs into the floor, the feet, the toes. Soften your buttocks, soften the back of the body, soften the abdomen, the chest, your ribs. And finally, soften your breath. Let the breath do its natural thing. The body will breathe, so no control over the breath is necessary. Trust the body to know what it's doing, so let the breath settle back to its natural state. Watch the pauses between exhale and inhale lengthen, trusting the breath for its own intelligence. So you can completely let go of the body, let go of the breath, let go of anything that floats through your mind, just let it float. And with that complete relaxation of body, breath and mind, stay for another few minutes. Stay for as long as you have time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Whenever you feel ready, just come up nice and slow, moving the hands, moving the feet, and take it in your own time. So I hope you enjoyed the practice. I'll leave you here to rest by yourself, and I hope I'll see you again. Thanks very much.